Hey guys, I'm Mark,
I'm Alon.
and welcome to another episode of The Next Man Up. Hey listeners, welcome back to another episode of the Next Man Up podcast, where we are about raising up the next generation of men, because we believe that when boys become healthy and godly men, everyone benefits. I am Mark Stanifer, your host, and I'm joined once again by my co-host, the incredible Mr. Alon Auguste.
Hello, hello, hello.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When did you get your first piggy bank or savings account or anything like that?
Man, dude, that's a good question. It was way back. I think I was like maybe 8 or 9 in a group home. I got some change, and I put it. It was a Tootsie Roll.
I remember those
Tootsie Roll
banks.
Bank.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
That's a throwback. I grew up in a family where there were little banks all over the house.
Oh.
Because my dad was a sort of coin collector. But it wasn't like valuable or antique coins. It was just, for him, it was a little bit of a game. Like, can I collect a whole roll of pennies with the same date? Or can I collect all of, do you remember when the mint started producing quarters for each of the states?
Yes.
And do you remember the books that you could put those quarters in? So he started collecting different state quarters. Like, there was always a bank somewhere on the shelf, and they weren't huge.
Yeah.
They're like little animals or the Tootsie Roll things. I think at one point we got him as a Christmas gift, like a 3-foot tall Pepsi bottle as a bank. And so that just, for him, it became like a vacation fund or a fun money.
Yes.
But there was always some bank going on
awesome.
in our house.
That's awesome. Uh-huh.
Well, that's a little bit of a tease for where our topic is going today. But before we get into that, listeners, let me just give you a couple of updates. Our next Building a Rite of Passage workshop is coming up on April 18. That's a Saturday in April. We're back in the Central Ohio area. We're going to be in North Westerville, bringing this half-day workshop back to our Central Ohio roots here. And for those of you dads who are interested and know that you want to be a part of this, you've been waiting for us to offer it again. You want to do this for your son and do it around other like-minded fathers. I want you to head out to our website, the new website, thenextmanup.com/events, and you can find all the information that you need to be part of this, to get yourself registered, and to just join this event, this experience, this movement of helping boys to recapture what it means to be a man. And as a dad, put this rite of passage tool back in your toolbox. We would love for you to join us. So if you're interested, head out to our events page and check it out and get yourself signed up if you're ready. If not, stay tuned. More information will be coming.
Yes.
Okay. Money. I almost thought like maybe we could find a little tune that we could play in the background just to kind of get this topic going. We have not hit this topic yet. So this episode is, I think, 94. So we're getting close to that century mark. We've got some fun things planned for that. But in the previous 93 episodes, I don't think we've ever really touched on the topic of money. So today we want to tee this topic up with this parent in mind, the parent who's got a pre-elementary or elementary school age child, boy, that is thinking about, how do I begin this topic of money? How do I engage my child on the topic of money? And that's kind of where we're going to camp out for a little bit today.
Cool.
So getting a bank at eight years old, that's like square in the lane of where we're headed.
Yeah.
So I was at breakfast. I just love how this stuff works out because we had planned this topic to record today. I was at breakfast yesterday, and I'm out with a couple of guys, and we're just getting caught up. And one of the guys was at a hockey game the previous day. And he had taken his boy. His boy's 9 years old, and his boy wanted something to eat or drink from the concession stand.
Okay.
And I don't know how long it's been since you've been to an arena and priced the concession
They're
food.
expensive.
Dude, it's like, give me your dollar bills, the entire contents of your wallet, and your right arm.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you a little piece of candy, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But I digress. So, boy wants a water, and Dad was thinking maybe I might get a beer. Dad prices the beer at $13. Prices the water out
right.
at $5 for a 20-ounce bottled water.
Yep.
$5. $5. And he's in this moment where, like, what do I do? So he passes on the $13 drink and decides to get a water for his boy. And guess how much water was gone at the end of the game?
No, he probably took 2 sips.
2 sips. 2 sips. Now, I know a little bit about this family, and I know that they're money conscious.
Sure.
In a healthy way, not in a greedy way, but they're conscious of money as a tool that should be stewarded well. They are not a greedy family, and he is actively trying to invest in his son principles of, you're making a choice here.
Sure.
This isn't free.
Yeah.
It comes at a cost. Is the cost worth it? So at the end of the game, the boy looks at the water bottle and he's like, sorry, Dad. I know you wasted $5 on this bottle of water. So I loved the exchange because Dad was like, that's all right. I understand, but this is a learning opportunity for you to recognize the value of $5.
Yeah.
And I loved the exchange, and it was so appropriate to what we're talking about here. How do we help our 9-year-olds, our 6-year-olds, our 4-year-olds understand what money is all about?
What is it all about? That is a really good question.
So obviously we need money, right?
Yeah.
We need money to live. We need money to provide. We need money for the basic needs. But I think as a parent, the challenge is to help your boy see money in an appropriate light.
Yeah.
Not necessarily as the goal. And we'll get into this a little bit in the next episode. But not necessarily as the goal, but as a tool,
Yes.
and as a limited resource as well.
Yeah, tool. I'm glad you said that because that's I don't know, that's what's instilled in my head is I think the moment that I decided that money was not the end all be all and decided that it was a tool that I can use in this life, that changed my whole perspective of the value of it, and such. And so, if we can get our single digit boys like to understand that at a very young age, man, it would go well for them later on in life. I think, automatically, my brain goes to, so what we're going to do is on Saturday mornings, we're going to have these little workshops with our sons. I'm going to put $1 bill in front of them. Son, this is $1. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what this $1 can do for you. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, okay, if you want to take it to that. But I think this father that you were just saying, he gave a very practical lesson to his son. Yeah. We just spent $5. Do you know where that $5 came from and how it came to be in our family? Mm-hmm. How it got to our family? Mm-hmm. I worked hard. Mommy worked hard for that $5. And we thought that it would be a good thing for you to go to this sport event and you said you were thirsty, and we spent that hard-earned $5 on you because we think you're worth it. You know what I'm saying? But you only took 2 sips.
Yeah.
Like, that was what we call waste.
Yep.
Like, you're not a waste, but the water not being drunk is a waste.
Yep.
Isn't that a great way to, like, to talk through with your kid? Like, here's this tool that can sometimes get out of its box, its zone of a tool, and end up being something that runs us.
Yeah.
You know, that's a great little way.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking of the spectrum in that scenario. The spectrum on one hand could be get whatever you want, right? And you ring up $100 bill at the counter and you come away with a popcorn and a soda.
Yeah, right.
I'm exaggerating a little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit. Or the other spectrum, which is sometimes where I have erred, is no, don't even ask. It's too expensive. We're not going to do that. And I think sometimes it comes across as dad's cheap, dad's tight. He's unwilling to use the tool a little bit. What I love about what this guy did is he turned it into a lesson opportunity for his son, figuring that he figured correctly what would happen. And then instead of making his son feel bad about wasting $5, it became this opportunity. The son already felt bad.
Yeah,
right?
he already did.
Because he apologized.
He apologized.
Right, he knew. He knew.
Yeah.
But dad redeemed the situation and said, well, okay, so it's a lesson that's learned.
Yeah.
And I love the way you put it. You're not a waste, but we wasted this money here because we didn't consume or we didn't utilize where it went, what we exchanged it for.
Right? Yeah.
So anyway, I see that as a spectrum that dads play on. And I think too many times we err on either side of just plain no because I don't want to spend the money or I don't want to waste it.
Without the lesson.
Or yes to everything because it placates the child or because I'm, like we talked about last time, I'm insecure in my fatherhood. So I want to buy this relationship to help validate and secure me, which is artificial.
Yeah, very artificial.
So we play on these extremes instead of finding, as we often talk about, finding a better way.
You know, I think it's in, like, you know, this talk of money, I think it's important that, I hope I'm not getting away from what you're hitting on, but I think it's important that as soon as we notice our sons, our boys, being aware of money, to start talking about it. You know, as soon as the question of, Dad, can you get me? Or Mom, Dad, I want, like, I think when sentences start that way, like, I think that's when the light bulb needs to go off in our head and go, ding.
Yep.
Time to start talking about money.
Yep. Because
it's stemming from, like, what they think they need in their lives right now, you know? And, you know, this story is a story of, like, the boy was thirsty. You know, this is like a life deal here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether that bottle of water was $1 or it was $5, you know, he still was thirsty, you know? But when it's like, hey, I want a new bike, or I want a new PlayStation. My friends, they all got PlayStation, like whatever number we're on. Like, can I get that? Or, you know, a new Matchbox, Hot Wheels set, new whatever games kids are playing these days. I'm naming off old toys. You know, new movie came out and they got action figures for it. I need that. Like, it's like, I think those are the moments that we need to go, okay, let's talk about something first before we even talk about if and when you get that. Like, let's talk about what it takes to get that. And let's talk about money. That's important.
Yeah. I think another concept that is totally appropriate and in line here is this idea of delayed gratification. So not only, like you said, are we helping them to understand the tool that is exchanged for the need or the want, but we're also helping them to understand the importance and the power of delayed gratification.
Yeah.
It's a want that you have. It's okay to want that, but you don't have to have it right now.
Nope. No. And what a great way to like cut off the message that is pumped through media. Like, look,
oh my gosh.
I mean, it's always you need, you have to, like you'll be better. Like, you know, and it's like, no, I'm going to think this one through. And like instilling that at a very young age, what a powerful like tool, you know, for our kids. That they don't have to have the next new Air Jordans. Like,
yeah,
I have some friends, and I'm not trying to knock. It's just more of like, wow, this is something to think about. Like when you have a baby and they have Air Jordans on. I mean, this is a very expensive shoe, you know, and
now can said baby even walk?
Like can't even walk yet, but has Jordans on. And I'm going, what are we, you know, I don't even think this child is able to understand, like, even now what you're doing. But if this continues, like, what message are we sending, and what understanding of money are we sending to our boys when at 0 to 1 years old they have a pair of the most expensive sneakers ever on the planet on their feet?
Yeah,
you know, this idea that you can wait. It's very important, man.
It is very important.
Very important. Dude, when I was younger, I forget where I was and how. I know I was in the single digits, but I was at this one foster home. In the corner, there was a little corner, like not even like a little corner market, where they had Hostess cupcakes. Us in the Midwest, we don't know nothing about this, but there was these certain chips called Wise potato chips. They made cheese doodles, they made onion rings, they made regular potatoes. They were just amazing. And so I would go into the store and I would steal like chips from them and Hostess cupcakes and whatnot, and I'd walk out the store. Well, the old dude who ran the store, he was pretty hip to me. Like, he was not stupid, all right? And so one day he comes over as I'm walking out the door and he goes, I'm going to give you an option. You can try to leave this store and there's going to definitely be problems. Or you could show up tomorrow and I'm going to give you a broom and you're going to sweep the sidewalk. And then at the end, I'm going to give you something called money, and then you can buy what is now currently in your pockets. Right? I'm just like, whoa, what? Like, right. You know, so like I'm emptying out my pockets and whatnot, and I show up the next day, and true to his word, he gave me a broom. I swept the front sidewalk, and he paid me at the end. And like what he taught me in that moment, I look back in a lesson, is that whole you don't need to do this like and destroy like your life.
There's a better way.
There's a better way, right? But he also taught me that's another way that I was taught the delayed gratification. I wanted something right now so much that I was willing to break the law for it. And this dude was like, nah, you can have what you're aiming for. You're just going to have to wait a little bit, and you're going to have to do some work. And if you can do some work and wait a little bit, you're going to get what you want.
So I can't help, I love that story, by the way. I can't help but think that it is those little moments as young boys that are missed along the way that result in the big boys in adult bodies taking things because they want them now that don't belong to them.
Or finding a short way.
Or finding a shortcut, right?
Like to what we want. Because we want it now. We got to have it now. It's Burger King. Have it your way. Have it now. Like
The wife and I were walking through a grocery store just the other day, and in the middle of the lane, they had these Hot Wheel car displays. And I know every time she took the boys to the store, and this was 15 years ago now, 12, 15 years ago, every time she went through the store, it was, can I? Yeah. And I'm sure she heard over and over, oh, mom.
Yeah.
Because what she would tell them, generally speaking, was no. Now, occasionally it was, yep, here's a here's a budget.
Yes.
Here's a limited amount of this tool, and you can exchange it for a limited amount of these cars. Or guess what? You can bring some of your own money in the next time we come, and you can use your own money on this. But it just brought back so many memories of those. They're $1, right? We live in the most affluent country ever.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's $1. But those small things add up over time.
They do.
Right? They start small, but they don't stay small.
You know, one thing my wife and I have done with our kids is we just started them small, man. We started them small, learning about budgets. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, here's the deal. You're like 6, 7 years old. You're gonna get a job, and you're gonna do this job. And every time you do this job, at the end of the week, you're going to get paid. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get paid in money. We're going to teach you how to work this money. And we teach you about a thing called budget. So at the end of the week, take a number. I'm not going to tell you how much I give my kids.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But let's say it was that $1, right? So at the end of the week, you get $1. You know that, at the end of the week, you get $1, but we taught them a budget rule. We gave them the 30-70 rule. Have you ever heard of that?
I can guess where you're going.
Okay, where I'm going? Okay, so we said 10%, like you're gonna tithe that 10%. So you can give 10% to God. You take another 10% and you're gonna save it.
Pay yourself,
right? And then the third one was charity. You're gonna do something nice for somebody. Mm-hmm. So out of that $1, 10 cents doesn't pay a lot, doesn't do a lot now, but you put it away for that, right? And the other 70%, that's what you live on. You do whatever you need to do, but you're gonna do that. If you want to buy like a new Hot Wheel, guess where that money's coming from?
Yep,
it's going to that.
Yep.
It's coming from that. You want to buy we're at a movie and you want popcorn. Guess where the money's coming from? It's coming from that. And like I know this. I've told this to some parents, and they're like, you made your kid buy popcorn? No, I taught my kid how to see money as a tool to do things in life, right? I've also taught my kid that there's something bigger than themselves that owns all this.
Yep.
And you want to just kindly and respectfully say, I understand and I get it. I want to put forward your kingdom. But I also taught them that they are valuable. They are valuable. And they need to pay themselves. Yeah. Right? And then also, they don't live on this world by themselves. Yep. They live with people. Yep. And it's good to show people around you that they are valuable too. Do something nice for somebody. Yeah. And what's happened is that as my kids have gotten older, I've seen them do things like they're on a trip or something, and one of their friends doesn't have enough money for something. Guess who's the first person to come out with money for them? It's them. And it's not like, I'm a better person. It's like, no, I just see someone who needs help.
Have an opportunity to bless.
Right? They like all the things like, hey, guess what? It's not a surprise later on when they're in their teens and they want to drive the car and that insurance goes up. And I go, hey, you got your license. You want to drive this car. I got to put your name on the insurance. Guess how much that insurance is? Yep. Already ready for it, Dad. I already know. Yep. I've been saving $60 a month for that insurance every month. Like they're already ready for it.
That's right.
So we're building on a platform and a foundation that started young in the single digits, so that now when they're teenagers and they're in their 20s, they know how to roll right when it comes to money. Yeah, that's my little story.
No, it's good, and I think there's another nuance to that parents today will go through that you and I didn't really have to go through as parents as much, or certainly when we were growing up. And that's the digitalization of money, right? So when you and I were growing up, we had pennies and nickels and dimes and quarters and dollar bills. Mm-hmm. Like we did a whole episode on millennial parents a few weeks back. And the millennial parents today, it's a cashless, for the most part, totally. It's a cashless society. So money is all done through digital exchange, right? So how do you help your kids visualize what money really is?
Ding, 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 ding.
And teach them that just because you swipe the card or pay it with your phone or whatever,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that there isn't some transaction happening behind the scenes where you're exchanging the currency for what you're getting, right? It's like because we've taken the cash component out and made money not so visible, the challenge is to help kids understand what money really is and distinguish what a credit card is
Right.
from a debit card.
Yep.
Right. And help them to visualize what has become really invisible.
And like there's this is where I go, technology can work for you. Like, I just sat down with my oldest and we went through setting her up on stocks, walking through like the positives of having a credit card and what to use it for. And we're not setting her up on that, setting her up on an app that helps her budget and such. Technology can be your friend in this.
Yeah.
Like there's things for kids out there to help them see that visually on their phones to their tablets and such. There's ways to like even help monitor parents, dads. There's ways to help monitor like your kids' usage of money. Like you can have accounts connected to yours and be able to show them like, here's you spent like 3 days at Chipotle.
Yep.
And this is how much money you spent. Did you see how like maybe if you instead of going to McDonald's like 4 times a week, maybe we can cut that down and you'll be able to get that awesome new game on PlayStation that you've been wanting. Like, but you're going to have to cut down on this, like this technology can be your friend. And I know that we had an episode where I was kind of down in technology a little bit. I know. But I was more trying to show you like the realities that we're facing, but it can be used in a good way as well.
It can. It's a tool that is at fingertips today to use for good. Are you familiar with the envelope system for budgeting?
Oh, yeah. I used to use that.
So I've heard a bank running commercials here talking about digital envelopes.
It's amazing.
Right?
There's so many apps, man, from Mint Mobile, the Mint app to Home Budget to, there's so many apps that use that envelope system. And so like, I'm old school, man. I was born in the 70s. And so like having a bank, actual physical bank that was in my room was important, and having envelopes as I got older to be like, yeah, this is for socks. Because I know how many, that's important, right. But it's a totally different world today, but there's still things that have the same principles that are available to us that we can use. Yeah. Like, so dads, don't think that you're too old fashioned to help your sons like work with money.
Yep.
You're not old fashioned. You just got to find what can work for them. And
the other thing that I would say is, as we kind of wrap this up, is start early.
Yes.
Start often, or do it often, and help them to see the way. Help them to see it by way of modeling it.
Yeah.
Because kids they'll pick up your behavior.
Yeah.
So if you want them to be good managing money, if you want them to be good stewards of this resource, if you want them to really see this as a tool, not as something that they are slave to, but something that they can master, then show them how it's done.
Yeah.
And have a conversation with them all along the way so that, like you said, when they're old enough to start dealing with some of these bigger ticket items, they're ready.
Yeah.
Because they're not surprised. They've been prepared along the whole way.
Whole way.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll come back to this topic again.
Sure,
this
man.
is a good one. Like often, we're scratching the surface a little bit, but we hit on some good stuff today. Some good practical things. So dads, once again, what are you taking away? What are you hearing? What implementation can you make with your boys? What can you do at home? What can you do in your own relationship with money that will help to raise up the next generation of men to be able to handle this resource well?
Yeah.
All right, brother. Until next time.
Adios.
Adios. Hey, listeners, thanks for journeying with us on this Next Man Up podcast. We would love to hear from you. Maybe you have a question or an idea, perhaps a topic for us to consider. If that's you and you want to reach out to us, you can get us at feedback@thenextmanup.com. That's feedback@thenextmanup.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll see you later.